What's up, you guys? It's the Moses of Finance back with you one more time, teaching you some principles about God's money management framework from a certified financial planner's perspective. Now, before I jump in, as always, I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't and like the video. And if this video blesses your life, please make sure that you share this video and some others so that they can get the information that they need. Remember, this month we're talking about marriage and money. And so for today's topic, we're going to talk about babies and budgets, what to expect financially with the arrival of a child. Right now, again, the reason why I believe as though that I'm a credible source for you to take this information from is because I've been married for 14 years and I have 3 children, a 12-year-old at the time of this video, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old. Okay. And then we also have a 17-month-old puppy. But the other reason is I'm a certified financial planner and I run a 7-figure financial planning and wealth management firm. So before I jump in, I want to give you a quick scripture because, again, I am the Moses of Finance. And so the scriptures is Psalms 127, verses 3 through 5. And it reads, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb, a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them." Now, to me, these verses highlight the blessing and value that children are, but it also implies the responsibility that we have in terms of caring for them and nurturing them. And I believe that that also includes meeting their financial needs. So when it comes to having children, they do take precedence and priority, and they will increase your expenses. So with that being said, let's talk about some key aspects that often change when you become a parent. So number one, increased expenses. Having children typically leads to an increased expense on the budget side, on your budget. You need to consider the costs such as diapers, formula, baby food, clothing, medical expenses, child care, or education expenses, and other necessities as your child grows, right? It's essential to budget and plan for these things. For some of these additional expenses, it will help you, especially when you're planning, it'll help you ensure future financial stability. All right. So you may have to redo your budget. Luke 14:28 says, "For which of you desires to build a tower, but does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it?" So this is why budgeting is important, because now sometimes you don't necessarily, I don't believe that people are going to sit down and go through their budget to see if they can financially afford a child. You're just going to get into the act first. And then it's like, hey, babe, guess what? I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? And so then you just kind of go from there. And so I think that when that time comes, you will go ahead and you end up redoing your budget, and you plan for the certain things and look at what needs to be reduced and so on and so forth. But the questions that I think that you should also ask yourself is, especially if you're expecting, is will you or your partner take maternity or paternity leave, right? Is that part of your benefits package? Will you or your spouse stay at home with the kids longer than that paternity leave? And do you need to check to see if your employer offers any benefits? So in terms of childcare subsidies or the maternity or paternity leave, right? Number 2, you need to plan for the childcare costs. When I tell you, man, daycare is a beast. So if both of you work outside the home, childcare costs may become a significant expense. And it might be one that you want to endure, because once your baby starts to walk and talk and all those things, guess what? They don't stop. They keep talking. They keep walking, and they will interrupt you. And I think that in today's environment, especially as I do Zooms and stuff with clients, you will see the babies running around the background. You will hear them. You will hear the dog. It's kind of like a common thing now. You don't necessarily have to apologize for that, or make your employer think that you're not, or your boss that you're not at home or that you're not working. But I think that it is good to plan for the childcare costs, whether it's daycare or hiring a nanny or enrolling your child in preschool or after school programs. It's important to factor in the cost when managing your finances. Time is your greatest asset. And once you lose it, you cannot get it back. And so what that means is that you do not have to wait until your child is ready to go to preschool to start planning for preschool. You do not have to wait to start saving for after school programs until they get to ready to use the after school program, to start saving for the after school program. All right. You want to start saving for them as soon as you can. It doesn't have to be an extravagant amount, but if it's $10, $20 or something in a separate savings account specifically for that, then that again creates additional financial stability. Remember, if you watch the video about the Power Couples playbook, the power couple is ready for the unexpected. So who's to say that when the child gets ready to go to preschool, that there's only one person working, one income coming into the house? Maybe it's significant, maybe it's not. But if it isn't, then we have that money set aside so that we can do what we need to do. You also want to look at your insurance coverages. As a parent, you may need to review and update your insurance coverages. So this includes your health insurance, all right? Adding your child to the health insurance. I think that you end up getting like 30 or 60 days before you add them, or I think, and every plan is different, but it's usually 30, 60 days after the baby's born that you can add them or something like that. You also want to look at your life insurance policies. Majority of the time, my clients that end up having babies, their insurance numbers go through the roof. Why is that? Because now you've got another somebody that you have to prepare for or plan for and provide for in the event that one of the spouses, God forbid, passes away. So your insurance numbers usually go up while the child is at home, and then it usually drops off once they go to college. And so a lot of people will also include not only in their insurance coverages in terms of paying off debts and all that other stuff, but they'll put money aside if something happens to them. That money's there for their child to get the education that they need. Right. That also means that you may even need to look at your disability insurance and make sure that your disability insurance is giving you the biggest bang for what you're paying for. Does your job just give you 60%, or can you purchase up to 80%? If not, you maybe even want to seek out another insurance agent and see if you can get a supplemental disability policy, a supplemental long-term disability policy, just in case, God forbid, something happens. Because the statistics say that you're more prone to get disabled than you are to die. And the crazy part about it is almost nobody has disability insurance. They just do not think that it's going to happen. Everybody has, well, not everybody, but majority of people have life insurance. And if you're watching this video and you don't have some life insurance, you need to go ahead and get you some. All right. The other thing that you may want to consider is looking for your child's pediatrician and making sure that they're within your insurance network. All right. So if you're both, again, if you're in the newlywed phase and you haven't decided on which insurance policy you want to keep, maybe look at the different doctors and check out their reviews and figure out which one is best to keep then. Next, you want to consider what's going to happen with college savings. Many parents choose to start saving for their kids' future early on. Some people start as soon as the baby's born. You can actually start sooner. Before they're born, if you want to, you can at least get the account set up, and then family members can actually just put money into the account. All right. So if you do think that your child is going to get some financial gifts and stuff like that, a 529 or one of those custodial accounts, which are called UGMA accounts, which is called a Uniform Gift to Minors account, or a UTMA, which is a Uniform Transfer to Minors account or something like that. But the primary difference between the two is the UGMA can't hold real estate, the UTMA can hold real estate. Okay. Now, the next thing that you want to look at is estate planning. If you have not gotten your estate plan done, especially if you're married, you really should get it done once you get married. I don't know why people wait. You do not have to be rich to have an estate plan, because if you don't create your own plan, then you submit yourself to the plan for the state of residence that you're in. So if you don't think that you have an estate plan, guess again, because you do. You have an estate plan. It's your state's plan, and I'm pretty sure you're not going to like it. So your estate plan, you need to update your will, your financial power of attorney, your healthcare directive, your living will. And then because you got a baby coming, you need to look at your guardianship. All right. And then this is where you also need to look into a living trust. Now, let me just also put this little quick plug in here. Social media is running around talking about that a living trust is an asset protector. A revocable living trust is an asset protector, that if you put all of your assets in it, that is going to protect all of your stuff from lawsuits, from creditors, all that stuff. Let me tell you something from a certified financial planner. That ain't true. If you want one of those types of trusts, you need an irrevocable life insurance trust. This is why, or how, people like Donald Trump were able to file bankruptcy on the Taj Mahal, and it affected none of his personal finances. A revocable trust can definitely get access if you get into a lawsuit. Why? Because you still have control over it. You have to give up control in order for it to be protected. I thought I'd just put that plug in there. But anyway, next, you need to adjust your financial goals, because now with the arrival of the children, some necessities such as adjusting your financial goals, and they need to take shape. So now, if you haven't gotten the house, do we need to pull back on what we're putting towards saving for the down payment? From a retirement planning standpoint, I don't believe that you should reduce your retirement. Now, this is just me. I always tell my clients, my job is to give you the pros and cons of the financial decisions that you're making. It's your job to choose which one you want to do. So my philosophy is that you don't pull back on saving for retirement. Why is that, Paul? The reason why is because you can borrow for college education. You cannot borrow for retirement. Pretty simple. Next, you need to consider taxes. Having your children may make you eligible for various tax benefits, all right, such as the child tax credit. All right, the child tax credit, in order for you to qualify for that, your MAGI, your modified adjusted gross income, if you are a single filer, needs to be under 200,000 as of the time of this recording. If you are a joint filer, then you need to be under 400,000, and then you may qualify for that tax credit. You may also qualify for the child or dependent care expenses that were required in order for you and your spouse to work or search for work. And so you want to make sure that you get with a good CPA who knows this stuff so that you can get your deductions, especially if you are a W-2 income earner. There's very few tax deductions that you can get as a W-2 income earner, so you want to get them as you can, and your CPA needs to know this stuff. All right. Now, remember, everybody's situation is completely different, and I'm just giving you some strategies that have worked for some of my clients. But you guys have to figure out what's going to work for you. If you're unsure of the information that I'm giving you, it is always a good idea to seek out professional guidance. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Moses of Finance. I think I've given you enough revelation for one day. Babies and budgets. I'll catch you guys down the road.